I have to decrease it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a great lunch and excited to know about innovation in SRH. My name is Nagla. I am an OP doctor and a program manager in many international organizations for civil society development. And I am here as a moderator for the session, and I'm happy to see all these bright leaders and faces. Let's welcome our presenters for today. Miss Ali from Indonesia, Dr. Amir Hawes from Egypt, Dr. Rebecca from California, and Dr. Namita from India. Let's give them applause. As a little boring reminders, can we put our phones on silent to ensure the flow of the presentations? And of course, our virtual attendees, you can use the Slido platform for questions, and our presenter will answer it, or I can pass the questions to them. After each presentation, we'll have a poll for question. You can share your comments or reproductive feedbacks, or if you have a question about the result of the achievements. I would like first to start with Ms. Ali from Indonesia and her presentation about Sitara online interactive modules as an alternative delivery method for CSE for junior high school students. Come to the floor. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. So my name is Eli. I'm from Rutgers, Indonesia. I'm an PMEL in Rutgers, Indonesia. So can you please... Yeah.
This is yours.
Yeah.
Can you make a slide?
Okay. So today I will present the pilot study that we conduct, and the title of the study is Setara Online Interactive Module as an alternative to deliver comprehensive sexuality education in junior high school Denpasar in Indonesia. The background of this study, in Indonesia up until now, comprehensive sexuality education is not a mandatory subject. And to fill in this gap, Rutgers Indonesia developed CSE module called Setara. In English, it means equal, like a teen aspiration. And in the module, we implement in several areas through various programs since 2013. 7 years after the implementation of this module, we conduct an implementation research. And one of the findings is that the delivery of the Setara module and topics inside the module was mostly influenced by the teacher's values. So this gives an effect on the incomplete learning for students, that they don't have proper or comprehensive again regarding the sexuality education. And during the COVID-19 outbreak in Indonesia, when an offline learning becoming online, it become increased for the incomplete deliver due to limited time for online teaching. So the teachers only focus on the mandatory subjects like mathematics or Indonesian language. And to respond this situation, Rutgers Indonesia tried to digitize the Setara module into an online self-learning. So the concept of the topic in this online learning is the same like in the physical module. And in each topic, student can learn by watching videos, do some quizzes and games, including respond some answer related to the case studies. So we give some question or case studies, and student can directly respond and give answer to that. And this online module was piloted first into school in Denpasar City Junior High School between August 2021 up until February 2022. So this is the objective that we want to know from this study. So it conducted by Rutgers Indonesia. We want to know the student knowledge. They respond to the quiz, how much score they are get from each quiz in each topic. And then we want to know a number of topic delivered that accessed by the student itself. And then we also measure the time needed by student to complete each topic. So from each topic, how much time that they need to finish it. And also their convenience using the online module, especially by the student itself. The methodology, we do both for the quantitative and the qualitative data. This is what we record from the system for the quantitative data. And for the qualitative data, we conduct an FGD and interview to the student and also with the teacher in that to school. In quantitative measure, we do the analysis on the score that each student achieve by finishing each quiz for each topic. And students who have scores more than 80, this is the minimum score to pass to continue to the next topic, was considered to have sufficient knowledge. And we also collected the number of topics completed by students during the period of the pilot study and the average time that they needed to finish for one topic. As for the qualitative, we conduct FGD and interview to student and teacher to have their opinions and feedback for the online module. And the result from the system that we record, we see that from the total 641 students registered by the system, we have 544 students access the online learning independently, so they can use the laptop or their handphone. And from this number, it is known that 70% student get score above 80. That means they can continue to each topic until it finish. And to complete each topic, student need time between 10 to 15 minutes. As for the qualitative findings, this is some of their comments regarding the online Setara. The teacher itself felt that the online Setara helped them in reducing the time to provide explanation, especially during the COVID-19 when they have this online learning. And then the student said that the graphic and the games and other interactive tool really get them engaged with the topic. However, we also have some input and also findings that students still need face-to-face session with their teacher, especially when they have a question that needs to be clarified. And the implication for this pilot study, it can be said from our perspective as Rutgers Indonesia that this can be an alternative, especially when there is a limitation in delivering the CSE. But the teachers still need to step in for the topic that is poorly understood. So I have this video for the online learning, so you can see what is Setara Interactive in Rutgers Indonesia.
Halo, saya Ray.
Halo, aku Tata. Teman-teman,
Untuk kegiatan awal ini, kita ingin tahu lebih dekat siapa kalian. Pada kegiatan di slide berikutnya, gambar diri kalian ya. Selamat berkreasi.
So this is one of the interactive that they can learn about depression, through sadness and
Ada berbagai
anything.
penanganan yang bisa dilakukan oleh tenaga medis profesional untuk mendukung kita memiliki mental yang sehat.
Mulai dari terapi psikologis seperti terapi kognitif perilaku dan juga diskusi kepada psikolog atau psikiater.
Yang terpenting,
jangan merasa malu atau takut
karena kamu tidak sendirian. Yang kamu rasakan juga banyak dirasakan orang lain. Ayo, mulai berbicara dan dapatkan pertolongan yang kamu butuhkan.
So we have this also explanation about the myth and fact related to the mental health, so they can open.
Now you know the trick. Okay, 82% of you answered 40.8%, which is more than the recorded in 2014, and this is the true answer. Again, the total unmet need for family planning is increasing year by year. So, percentage of unwanted newborns in the last 5 years is 25%, and it is increasing year by year. Total demand for family planning is 80.2%, and it is increasing year by year. The unmet need for family planning is 30.8%, and it is increasing year by year. Can we relate that to the mortality rate of newborns, for example? Can we relate that to the anemic children under 5 years? It is actually related positively, like what you said in this chart. Can we relate this also to the educational level of the mothers and fathers? It is totally related. The usage of family planning methods between the educated persons, educated youth, is more than the usage of family planning between the non-educated. The birth rate between the non-educated persons is more than the birth rate of educated persons. And if we talk about gender or circumcision, the circumcised girls, the circumcised non-educated girls are more than the circumcised educated girls. So it is totally related to education. Here I am, Dr. Amir Hawass from Alexandria, Egypt, and I am here to tell you about games as innovative tools for comprehensive sexual education, in particular reproductive health, family planning, and gender-based violence. As we saw, the percentage of the data of unmet need and the unwanted newborns is increasing. So what is the problem? What do you think is the problem? We related it to education, for example. Is it related to education? Is education may mean awareness? May the problem be just lack of awareness? Do you agree? Okay, lack of awareness. But what if I tell you that the total percentage of usage of family planning is increasing, not decreasing? And what if I tell you that the Ministry of Health, for example, is now initiating many projects related to family planning and comprehensive sexual education, and most of the national and international NGOs are now initiating programs and initiatives related to family planning and SRH and CSR. And they are wanting to raise the awareness. So what's the problem? Okay, that's good. Yeah. So the thoughts and beliefs of the people. That's a very good point. Sure. Go. Yes, very good point. They are teaching in a boring way. Very good point. Who else can say what is the real problem? Uh-huh. Thank you. Okay. Can I ask you, men and women, adults and young leaders of you, if you have the choice to go to a game night or to attend a session, health awareness session in the health unit, what do you prefer to do? The game night, of course. Okay, so here is the answer. Like normal awareness sessions are really boring. So, and it's more funny if you attend the games, whatever age you are, whatever old you are. Look at this old man holding this big dice, playing snake and ladder game. So Here is our idea. Actually, our idea is games. Yes, games. We make games, educational games, to raise awareness about family planning, sexual and reproductive health, and comprehensive sexual education. We are the Global Youth Ambassadors team in Egypt, and we started designing educational games in 2015. And guess what was the first game we designed? What? Snack and Ladder. As an open source game, we had the ability to edit this game in a way that it has a lot of information, a lot of interactive questions. That's how people can play these games, have fun, and learn at the same time. And within the last few years, we designed tons of games, board games, card games, puzzle games, and so on. Look at this chess game. These games are even like open source games, so we can edit this open source game and transfer it into an educational games or even invent the game from scratch. And this is called gamification. So what is gamification? Gamification is transferring a non-game context material, curriculum, or awareness messages into a game that have interactive information. When we started a few years ago, the most important challenge for us was the stigma towards family planning and health awareness sessions regarding sexual education, for example, especially in the rural areas. Like people, even men or women, are ashamed to go to the health unit to ask sexual questions to a doctor or even to a professional one. Like it's always stigma and it's shame to go and ask questions related to sexual education. And this was really a big challenge. So we started our initiative, which is called Games for Goals Initiative. And in this initiative, we design educational games by which we raise awareness about sexual and reproductive health and family planning to children, teenagers, and adults. And in these games, we use the manual of its all one curriculum from the Population Council. It has all the data trusted and confirmed there. Our initiative started in 2020, the phase 1, and the phase 2, and phase 3 in 2022. And in the last phase, 2022, we also implemented people with disabilities. As achievement, in these 3 phases, we trained 175 young leaders, including game designers, facilitators, and campaigners. And actually, these leaders, they started new campaigns in their own villages and cities. We launched more than 40 campaigns in more than 15 governorates in Egypt, including awareness campaigns and sports days. About beneficiaries, we reached more than 4,500 direct beneficiaries, including adults, men, women, and children, of course, more than 1,000 Syrian refugees, as we also included refugees in our campaigns in order to social include them. And also, as I told you, we also included people with disabilities, adults, and children. During this initiative, we get funded and worked with and cooperated with many national and international organizations, and they are. By the way, with UN Women, we worked on this game. We Rise is a mobile application. It's a game mobile application, like raising awareness about gender-based violence and family planning. And in the Global Youth Ambassadors team, we worked on this game. And we also got awarded from 120 under 40, and last year we got awarded from the Diana Award from UK. Thank you. Thank you. We are still on the way. I don't know who is like, where is the presentation? The time is past. 1 minute, please. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's not here. Please, 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 please. Yes. We passed a lot, but we are still on the way, and we are seeking for your support to reach the top of the mount. Here is a video I want you to watch. And look at, focus on the children faces, please. This video is recorded in a small village in Upper Egypt. It's called Garagos. It's a rural, very far area from the big city. And people there, they do not receive any campaigns related to family planning or even any raising awareness campaigns there. Look how they are happy. Imagine these boys and girls in the school, they are separated and they cannot even walk in the street together. And now we brought them together and they are playing together now. Boys and girls. This is our friend Mustafa, or as he always wanted us to call him, Misha. He's actually the one who like encouraged all of us to do that. We lost him in 2020 and for leukemia. And I would like to like give that to him just. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I would like to invite you all to, if this is the first time for you to know what about gamification, it's just a very good way to educate people to have fun and knowledge at the same time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Amir. Sorry for my bad pictures in this presentation. I didn't know that it will be there. And thank you for this interactive session with you. I would like to present Dr. Rebecca for you first or your colleague? Okay, with her colleague to present her winning abstract.
And is it ready to go? Yeah. I'm just going to use this.
I can.
Great. Well, y'all hear me? Great. Well, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Rebecca Braun, and along with my colleague, Dr. Mara Decker and our fantastic colleagues from Fresno EOC, I'm excited to present what we know about In the Know, a sexual and reproductive health education program integrating digital technology co-created with California youth. So technology-based sexual and reproductive health information and services have increased substantially over the past decade, just as youth access to mobile technology and web-based content has become ubiquitous. And while these technology-based interventions are growing in popularity and have shown promising evidence around feasibility and acceptability, there's still limited evidence that shows the effectiveness in changing health behaviors for young people. And so this presentation is going to provide an overview of In the Know. In the Know is an innovative sexual and reproductive health intervention that integrates in-person, group-based education with digital tools that provides necessary and timely skills, information, and resources to improve young people's health and well-being. And the intervention has 3 modules, as you can see here: sexual and reproductive health and contraceptive use, healthy relationships, and educational and career success. So this project was made possible through a partnership between 3 organizations: Youth Tech Health Initiative VTR, who developed the digital components of the project, Fresno EOC, our implementers, and then UCSF, who conducted the evaluation. And our funding is provided by the Federal Youth Services Bureau of the Department of Human and Health Services in the United States of America. So In the Know was implemented in Fresno, California, USA. Other than these folks, does anybody know where Fresno is? Right. So Fresno is in the Central Valley of California. It's the 5th largest city in California. It has some of the highest adolescent births, sexually transmitted infection, and poverty in our state. And youth have really limited access to sexual and reproductive health information and services. So to design the In the Know intervention, we used a 3-phase approach that we call youth-centered health design. Youth-centered health design employs the principles of positive youth development and human-centered design to position young people as experts in solving the challenges that affect their own lives. By utilizing human-centered design methodology in partnership with young people, we can create solutions that truly have an impact on their lives and what's important to them in their own community. So the first phase of youth-centered health design is called Inspire. And during this phase, we just want to learn as much as possible. We conduct interviews, we do research, we have conversations. And to do this, we recruited groups of youth, some of which you can see here, particularly those that come from schools, community-based organizations, foster care, and they bring a lot of different perspectives and backgrounds. And we started by asking what kinds of questions they had about various topics, including sexual behavior, family planning, healthy relationships, jobs, and education. And we came in with some ideas about what young people might want to know about these topics, but then we had the chance to really learn from them. So for example, we had some ideas about what financial literacy might look like for young people, but in conversations with them, we learned that they wanted concrete skills. How do I make a budget? How does credit work? What does it look like to lease an apartment? These are the kinds of skills that they wanted to know. So the next phase is ideate, and during this phase, we brainstorm solutions to make prototypes. So that means we spent hours and hours with our sticky notes, poring over everything we learned from young people and grouping those ideas into themes. It also meant we took time to say, what kind of features and what kind of platform do young people want to actually learn this information? So what we heard is young people wanted things that were interactive. They wanted games, they wanted linkages to resources, they wanted quizzes and videos and tools that really allowed them to interact and learn in a didactic way. So from there, we move into rapid prototyping. We take one of our ideas, we make a really basic product, and we put it in front of young people, and we ask them to try it out and give us feedback. And we do that process over and over again until we have something that we're ready to implement. So that's our third phase, implementation. And we implemented In the Know in Fresno County, California, among more than 1,200 young people ages 13 to 18, particularly unserved populations such as homeless or unstably housed youth, youth of color, LGBTQ youth, and rural youth. Participating youth received 8 hours of in-classroom education, combined with interactive digital content provided through a native mobile app. So throughout the life cycle of implementation, we were committed to meaningfully engaging young people and collecting their feedback. What this meant was that beyond our youth-centered health design process, we also surveyed young people after each session to get their immediate feedback. We conducted focus groups to hear what they thought, not just about our intervention, but about other issues that were going on in their community. And we conducted usability testing to get some feedback on what they thought about the technological components of the platform. So we learned a lot through the design and implementation of In the Know. First and foremost, we learned that it's crucial to center and engage young people in every step of the design process, but also to develop continuous quality improvement mechanisms so that we can continue to hear what young people want and improve our services based on their needs. Next, we learned that digital tools have opportunities, but also challenges. So digital tools were incredibly important to us to facilitate our implementation and our evaluation. However, there were some significant challenges, and especially when working with a population where access to the internet or use of electronic devices might be limited. And in fact, despite what the literature had reported, we found that among our study population, tech access and tech ownership was not ubiquitous. Third, strong partnerships were so key to our work. It was important to work together in a way that was honest, that was transparent, to meet regularly, and to face challenges and misunderstandings head on and figure out how to move forward together. And finally, none of this is possible without hiring, training, and supporting quality health educators. We could develop the best, most evidence-based intervention, but without ensuring that that intervention was delivered by this group of lovely folks you see over here, who really took the time to learn from and understand the population they were serving, we wouldn't have seen any of the success we did. So now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, who's going to talk about our evaluation methods and results, and some next steps and recommendations. So, Mara, it's all yours.
Okay, so Rebecca already mentioned a little bit about some of the different evaluation tools we undertook, including the focus groups, surveys, and usability testing, and ongoing data analytics from the app and the other technological pieces. In addition, however, we conducted a cluster randomized trial, so splitting all of the youth into two different groups, half of whom received the intervention and half of whom didn't. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and our follow-up from that. Ironically, or maybe not ironically, but right when everybody was getting the 9-month post-survey was COVID, so that kind of twisted some of our results around. So I'm going to focus particularly on the 3-month survey results. But in addition, as Rebecca mentioned, we also asked the youth that participated what they thought of the program in general, and overwhelmingly they really enjoyed it. They thought it was engaging. They thought, again, our health educators were fantastic and had just positive things to say about it. The impact of the program, first, the overall knowledge increased significantly. So they had increased knowledge about their sexual health, their healthy relationships, and educational and career activities. We did not see a significant change in unprotected sex, but that is because the majority of the youth were not sexually active either at baseline or 3 months later. So one of those expectations that we thought that the youth would be more sexually active ended up being incorrect. However, we saw a significant increase in the number of youth who actually used clinical services. So this could be family planning services or mental health services. And particularly for this very vulnerable population, many of whom had limited access and limited information, we're very, very proud of that result. Interestingly enough, however, we didn't see a big increase in the people who knew where to get clinical services. So it could have been that people knew where the services were, but they couldn't access it, and this additional push from the program helped them. Or it could be that there still is a significant population, particularly in the rural areas, where there just aren't services available. So even if you provide the information, if there aren't services around, the kids remain limited in what their access is. So some of the kids, again, I'm not going to read all of these, but very thankful of the opportunity, enjoyed the information that they provided, and as this one said, it was cool learning new things I didn't know. We ended up transitioning because of COVID, and these are not the results that I'm sharing today, to also have a fully online system and continuing with the health educators, but having an interactive online program. And the youth, again, were very appreciative of that, particularly during the early days of COVID, when much of their education was really disrupted, really limited. All of a sudden, they had these fantastic health educators who were able to make engaging and interactive activities for them. So some of the next steps, and we've done several of these next steps already, is we updated the entire look and feel of the program based on some of the youth feedback. We also decided, instead of requiring them to download an app, which had various burdens and various challenges, we made a mobile enhanced website. So youth can do that very easily on their phone or on their internet or computer, wherever, without having to worry about an app, without having to worry that their brother is going to see an app, something like that. We also integrated more of the in-person activities directly into the website so that health educators know exactly where to go. They don't have to carry a bunch of things around with them. And we revised the module slightly. We added more time for many of the activities to ensure that the youth had chances for questions and answers, and that the health educators had more chance to go deeper into some of the program. Again, we adapted all of these so it is now available either purely online or continuing to be in an integrated setup. And we're now focused on bringing the intervention beyond Fresno County to beyond California and elsewhere. Some of the recommendations, as Rebecca mentioned, we went through a whole process of youth-centered design and engagement with the youth, but we never did the same with the health educators. We didn't actually ask the health educators their level of comfort with technology, and that was a huge learning process, making sure that the health educators have the comfort and the training necessary to integrate something like this. They were having to carry tablets in case the youth did not have their own phones. They had to troubleshoot when all the phones didn't work. Half the phones would be out of batteries, things like that, and making sure that they had that support and training. Again, supporting the health educators to have the best health educators possible, like we were able to have, and continue to plan for those updates. Technology and tech-based activities change constantly. The apps, Android will update something. Your app will need to update with that, and making sure you have the time and the resources for that, as well as built-in feedback. So if something isn't working, you can make sure that the developers can support you. And finally, learning to take a trauma-informed lens, not only to the youth-centered health design, but also to the implementation. So many of our youth have come from challenging situations, making sure that our app, the curriculum, and our implementation all focused on supporting those youth if they were encountering some challenge or trauma. This is our contact information, and you may recognize some of the people in the picture. They're also in the front row. Thank you very much.
So any question? Do you want the... Yeah, because we have our virtual activities.
Hey. Hi, my name is Stefan. I work for World Vision, and I just wanted to find out. So thank you so much. I think it's fantastic. Great to see that. I'm just wondering. Many of the young people are actually using existing social media like Instagram, TikTok, stuff like this. So I'm just wondering if there is any way you're trying to get them from those platforms to your app or to your platform as well. So did you plan, to have some certain interventions on the regular social media that they're already using? Because I think that would also help in terms of increasing the reach, specifically if you want to go outside of Fresno.
That's a great question.
Okay.
That's a great question. For this particular project, because it was a study, and because we were implementing this with groups, so as a reminder, that also had an in-person component, we worked with over 50 different community-based organizations at schools and got the groups from that way. However, we also, when we were tracking and following up with the youth, we definitely used Instagram and all sorts of different things. That was another lesson learned. Don't expect kids to have email anymore. They don't look at it. And we ended up having to adapt a lot of that. But I absolutely agree. Go to where the kids are and integrate some of this into that is a great idea.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes? Okay.
Thank you. Well, my name is Jutomo Doting Julian, and I come from Liberia. You know, sometimes we really kind of like wonder, why do we send out information? We, gather young people from all around the community and talk to them about their health, but they go back and do something different. And we still see teenage pregnancy rate increasing. We see, young people dying while giving birth, and all of those things keep happening. More than ever before, I really believe that we have to take some innovative approaches. And when I saw this topic, I really felt inspired to sit in this room and to listen to, the kind of innovation across the world. And I must admit that I'm so much amazed by your presentations and the amazing works that you're doing. The Global Youth Ambassador, I really like, your presentation. It was wonderful, and everybody, right? Young people are really interested in gaming and those kind of fun activities. So I know you're doing this in Egypt, but is there a way in which you can kind of like provide a training for some youth organization to integrate this in our program in West Africa? If that works, I will be very excited to set that training and to integrate it in my program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna answer that.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to say something first.
I'm gonna lobby you and answer that. Okay. Okay.
Here
I
you
will
are.
give you the floor. Okay, because yeah, I'm the moderator of the session, but this was our winning abstract. Of course, guys, we would love to help anyone would like to have the training for gamification. It's an international training that we have been trained by the UNDP. It's an official one, and we have participated in Russia last year with the UN volunteers, and we have gave this training to many others. So, of course, anyone would like to have this training for free as a volunteering opportunity from us, we can do it. Just you can visit us at the 120 under 40 booth. We have a game, and we have a pharaonic souvenirs and Egyptian souvenirs for the winners. So you can play one of our games at this booth right after this session. Okay, do you have something to add?
Okay, I was about to mention this, but one more thing. We actually started last year with UN Women in a project called Men and Women for Gender Equality. And the part of this project was We Rise app. We Rise is a mobile game app addressing, like, raising awareness about these topics. And this app is they are spreading this app in the Arab region. And now it has like Arabic, English, and French language now. So anyone in the world can download this app, use it in these three languages. And this app is almost, it's a game. It's a mobile app, but actually it's a game raising awareness about family planning and gender, especially. And about Africa, again, we would love to spread that anywhere in the world. So please contact us. We can meet after this session to decide what we'll do. Thank you. And one more reminder about the booth. We have a game there.
Okay, I have to one more question, and we will go to Dr. Namita. Am I spelling it right? Namit. Oh, no. Okay, for one more game application. So excited to hear about it.
Thank you. I'm Aisha Wase. I'm from Rwanda. I had one question about the online learning. Mostly we know that this SRIH information related with the age. Is there any way that you know that a person who is using this is related to the age? Like, is there criteria or protocols? Not that a 14-year-old is not getting a 25 information. That was my question. Thank you.
Okay, so for this online Setara, we specialize for the junior high school student. So at the time the pilot study, when we developed this module, this online module, it basis on the offline module. So we developed the offline, and then because of the COVID, the offline cannot be taught by the teacher. So based on that and the topic, we develop it into an online module. So it it basically based on the offline module. So we did not develop topics that is different, and it's already targeted for the junior high school student, the topic itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So last but not least, one game is not enough. So we have one more presentation about another innovation game that helps adolescent girls in India.
Hi, everyone. I am frozen stiff. That's not my name, but this place is cold. I'm Namita Mohandas, and I'm here to talk a little bit about how we went about making this game for adolescent girls in India. I work with an organization called Howard Delafield International. We're a behavior insights consultancy. We've been working in global health for 25 years, and for a large part of those 25 years, we've been looking at the why of global health, causes for some of the health issues that we're dealing with today, especially in family planning. And with this project, which is a USAID-funded direct-to-consumer innovation grant, we've had the opportunity to build a serious games platform that looks at the what if. What if girls were provided with choices to visualize the simulated outcomes of their decisions? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. HDI and some of us on the team, we're a women-led, women-owned organization, and it's a great experience working in that kind of team. As a part of the Game of Choice platform, Go Nisha Go is our first game on this platform. It has been launched in June 2022. And in the last 3 months, we have seen about upwards of 110,000 downloads on the Google Play Store. Go Nisha Go, essentially, I talked about what if sometime earlier. And really, it is a way to use play. A lot of my colleagues here talked about games and play, and we're looking at how play can support girls to be empowered choice makers. Meet Nisha. Nisha is the protagonist. This is Nisha. She's the protagonist of this game. When you meet Nisha as a player, young girls can experience the power of their choices by making decisions on behalf of Nisha. Nisha is a 19-year-old girl who lives in a small, crowded corner of Delhi with her parents. And she struggles between her parents' expectations to be a good girl, to get married, and her own aspirations of what she wants from her life. Through the game, as you progress, you and Nisha meet various women. As a part of her job, she meets various women across India, where by meeting these women who are experts in different aspects of women's health, she and you learn about menstrual hygiene management, consent, contraception, contraceptive negotiation, and what you get to see is her struggles with her new life, her new job, her new boyfriend, and you make decisions on her behalf. Okay, let's do a little something. I'm going to play a little bit of a clip.
तो चलें?
It's in Hindi.
चाबी रखी, फोन, वॉलेट.
भूल गया.
क्या?
मेडिकल स्टोर से वो लाना.
मतलब कॉन्डोम. अरे रुको, कहानी इतनी आगे कैसे बढ़ गई? Rewind, please.
So that was a small snippet from the game. I don't know how many of you understand Hindi or understood what was happening there.
I understand it, Kandam.
You get it, Matlab. You heard the word condom and you understood what it was about. Okay, all right. Let's play a little bit. Imagine you're a 19-year-old girl and you're sitting on the beach with your boyfriend. who forgot the condom. You were ready to have sex. This is level 4 in the game, by the way. We don't start off like that. And okay, I'd like to invite some stories, some anecdotes. Have you been there? You said you have been there. So now we want to hear from you. What would you do? You have to imagine you're a 19-year-old girl.
You have to remember it.
Okay, so 19 at the beach. My boyfriend forgot the condom, even though we already talked about it to have the condom. So it's his fault, not mine.
What would you do?
The right answer is you send him while you wait. No, it's so many choices, but just wait. There's other things you can do without the condom and still have fun.
Okay, all right.
Just make sure nobody catches you at the beach.
Somebody else. Another version of this story. What would you do? I mean, you really need to think like a 19-year-old, not as a, I don't know how old you guys are, 30 plus. Somebody else.
I can
Yeah.
share.
Go ahead.
Of course, I haven't been there, but I can imagine if I was this girl, I would be like scared if he can judge me if I refuse this relation, or he can hit me.
Yeah.
So I will have a complex feeling.
Yeah.
And this complex feelings, if I don't have the enough awareness about family planning and unwanted pregnancies, I would
go ahead with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would be afraid to
That's
lose
one
my
option.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I think I have met girls think the same, and that is the issue actually.
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of our research also indicated versions of that. Any other stories? Come on, speak up. If you can't, how a 19-year-old's going to?
Okay.
Of course, I can't disappoint my boyfriend. I'll think about other things after that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure it out later.
Yeah.
Future Nisha's problem, not current
Tomorrow, tomorrow is tomorrow. Today it's a happiness with boyfriend.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Any other version of this? I think she. Yeah. We come to you.
I had a similar answer. So, for sure, I'm 19 years old, so the emotions will overtake me, and I will not care of the consequences right away.
Yeah.
So maybe tomorrow morning I'll go look for the postnatal pill.
Yeah.
For the emergency, for me not to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, since my boss told me to be honest, um, as a 19-year-old girl, if I was with my boyfriend and that was the topic that came up, and obviously there was already some stuff going on before they talked about not having a condom, that probably wouldn't have stopped me at 19. Especially if I was really into the person that I was dating or I was with, and I want to show them how I feel about them and all those things. So I as a 19-year-old girl, would have said, okay, let's do it, but withdrawal or something, and I'll take a plan B in the morning and it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being honest. 100 points to her. Thanks, everybody, for sharing. I mean, the idea of a game that simulates outcomes of people's choices, and if we want to make a game like that, in fact, if we want to design any kind of programs or products, the idea is that how might we actually listen and observe? There is only one way to build a product that encapsulates different people's versions of this. If you're sitting in a room and developing a product, or you're brainstorming, how many times have we been in situations where as teams you're going back and forth debating, no, this is the right way, we have to do this. You are going nuts making decisions. And really the idea is we don't need to make these decisions. Those stories exist. How might we be able to leverage those stories the choices that girls are making, and use those voices and incorporate those ideas into the products and programs that we're designing, rather than trying to force fit our ideas. That's really what this presentation is about in the context of the game that we have designed. What was our hypothesis? We thought, just to make it very brief, we thought if we engage youth, we should be able to increase relatability of the content that we create, of the product that we are creating, the interaction that we're hoping for, and thereby really simulate decision making that, that includes the voices of the girls that we are trying to design for. If that relatability, if any of these steps are missing, it is unlikely that we are going to be able to build any kind of agency, because what we create is not going to speak to the people that we're building it for. How did we do this? So the journey itself is kind of has been a project in itself. We started in 2019. We started design in 2019 after our formative research, and then the pandemic hit. We, over the course of about 2 years, whilst building the game, which took much longer than we thought it would because of the pandemic, we worked with local NGOs in 3 different states in India who had youth coordinators. So these girls in these 4 different locations across 3 states worked with 6 girls in each location over a 2-year period. Again, if we have done this, as most of you would have, we know how difficult it is to retain one group of girls over repeat engagement or over longitudinal research. And that I can say, also based on what everybody else has said, if you are making a game, if you're making this kind of content, it makes it so much easier to retain the group that you're working with. And this was a group of girls that helped us design the game, helped us make decisions about how, what kind of levels to design, and we'll talk a little bit more. So about 24 girls across 3 states worked with us over a 2-year period in order to test and prototype and design our game. So what did we learn? Okay, one more question for everybody here. How many of you use your phone in portrait mode primarily? Portrait mode is...
I don't know what is portrait.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't use it.
You don't use portrait mode. Okay, all right. Everybody else? How many of you use your phones in landscape mode primarily? That's even smaller. How many of you don't use your phones at all? Because some people didn't raise their hands. When I asked this question to a group of game developers, most of whom were young men who have been building games and who play popular games that are designed for young men. If you talk to them about how a role-play game should be designed, which is what Go Nisha Go is, it's a role-play game, the answer unequivocally was landscape mode. You need to be able to see the content, you need to be able to play as this character. And if we didn't have this group of girls that we were learning from and working with, we would have built a game that was designed on the basis of how maybe a lot of young men play games. What we saw from our interactions with young girls is they are using their phones in portrait mode primarily. They are watching YouTube videos in portrait mode. They are playing games that are designed to be played in portrait mode. They use WhatsApp. A lot of something to understand here is that the audience that we are looking at doesn't have, in a lot of cases, doesn't own phones of their own. They are using shared devices, And between school and the chores that they are committed to at home and after school classes, there is very little time that young girls have that they are able to devote to using their phones or playing games. And so all of their engagement is in short bursts of time. And so it seems maybe your commitment to your device orientation is sort of a time commitment. I realized that after I listened to young girls, which is, I'm looking at it. Turning your phone around and playing something or watching a movie is a time commitment to a certain extent, which girls in a lot of cases are probably not making. They're using it for short bursts of time. And that was one of the, I mean, I went deep into this, but this was one of the initial decisions that was so important to really make this game feel natural to young girls. It's not about SRH, but it is very much about how immersed they are in the content that you are creating for girls. The game developers are still traumatized by this decision. Somebody just narrated this anecdote recently during a meeting, and they said that was something that hit them hard. This is something else. So when you're building a role-playing game, and especially for an audience for whom nobody is making games, nobody is targeting games to Indian girls 15 to 19, nobody. They are playing games, of course, they're playing games that have been designed, but these games are not made for them. And so that has been a key focus for us through the design process, which is how do we represent the girls that we are creating this game for, not only visually, but in many other ways. So this is one example for how it was created visually. A lot of our references and what girls must look like, right from the high ponytail to the color blue, all of these pieces. There are some trends that I am not aware of. But that only surface when you are engaging with a group of girls. And so again, when I said earlier that you can sit in a room and try to make micro decisions without ever engaging with the group of girls or anybody else that you're designing for, it makes it so much easier if you are just talking to them directly. You don't need to make those decisions. So right from what our protagonist looked like, the qualities that she embodied, as well as the name of the game, Go Nisha Go. So many reviews that we've received on the Play Store are talk about the fact that my name is Nisha. It's so great to be playing a game that has my name in it, because games like that don't exist. So right from the decision of what she looks like to what the name of the game should be, all of it was tested, and we ensured that we we leveraged that in order to build stickiness. This is a little bit more about how the game was built. Again, I'm dwelling a little bit on what the game is like and what testing and prototyping and co-design helped us do. The home space was again based on a lot of the references that we picked up from girls' homes, because this is a visual medium. In addition, the game is, because this is a direct-to-consumer product, we have integrated several linkages to other products and services. And so these DTC linkages to products and services was critical for us to be able to surface them and integrate them in a way that girls are able to access them. I mean, you have your Amazons and other large apps and companies that are focusing on just this. How do you present the right product to the right user in the right way? And this is just a small part of it, but it was so challenging to build something so that it doesn't feel disingenuous or feel like an ad or feel like a distraction from the storyline and the game. And this process of engaging with girls really helped us build something that they are able to engage with. Nisha's boyfriend, Ayush, was also testing helped us in the way that one of the, when we tested one of the levels with them, one of the key points of feedback that we got very early on in the process is Girl said he shouldn't have been so friendly with her. Uh, and we realized we have to dial it back a little bit. We have to be considerate of, local sentiments, or also understand what girls' boundaries are. The way that we are thinking about it is probably not exactly how they are thinking about it. There is so much going on there that we don't understand. And so that helped us modify his personality so that he was able to represent a boyfriend positively, which resulted in, once the game was ready, girls actually told us that this kind of guy doesn't exist. We don't know boys like this. How come he was so understanding? How come when she said no, he didn't disagree with her, he didn't break up with her, he didn't threaten to post pictures of her online or whatever it was. So it was almost, it was a way to be able to model what a boyfriend can be. And that girls really helped us build that version of him. This is just under the hood. Building a choice-based narrative is, if somebody has done it, you know how complicated it is, and architecting that choice, our choice architectures, once we built them out initially and tested them, again, in times of COVID, testing this out remotely was quite a challenge, but doing that with girls helped us modify our choice. Again, on the topic of consent, what we didn't realize is in episode 4, when we need girls, when we were designing an episode where girls can explore contraceptive negotiation, it was critical that they actually explore contraceptive negotiation and not avoid it, in a sense, as they might otherwise. And we missed out on the fact that consent would be an important piece there. But girls reminded us that we want to say no here. We want to say no here. And how do we ensure that our choice architecture, again, reflects what their needs might be? This is a little bit more on terminology and language. Our game is in Hindi, and a lot of the language that we use and the terminology that we use, and if we think in English, it comes off sounding didactic or pedantic in a lot of cases. And we ensured that we tested a lot of these and found local language references for it, local terminology for it, so that girls are really able to understand what we're even talking about within the game, especially with key SRH terms. To summarize, our takeaways really were that the relatability of the content and storyline was strengthened because of our interaction with girls. Their game and digital behaviors shaped the game mechanics, ensuring that it was a game that really felt natural to them. A sensitivity to sexual reproductive health terminology, as well as content. It required a gentler approach that we were able to take because we understood from girls what they needed. And their, again, observation of their game interaction with the linkages that we included helped us build those linkages in a way that girls are actually able to use. This is just some feedback from girls, which really talks about how relatable the game is, that it feels like real life. And this is reinforcement that building that stickiness and relatability helps us get a foot in the door and ensures that girls really feel for the story and are they therefore hopefully able to apply it in their own lives beyond what they play in the game. That's pretty much it. We are at booth number 97, so come check us out, and we're available on the Google Play Store. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no one going to play Snake and Ladder anymore. I can imagine that years from now we will have a lot of SRH games and a lot of SRH platforms. And this Nishu game made Aishu my boyfriend, my dreaming boyfriend now. I would like to marry Aishu, okay? So I can see that this really, yeah, like, I can't, yeah, it's so powerful and innovative. I really admire all the presenter, all the presentation. I can imagine as a doctor, as an OP, that this can help a lot of doctors, a lot of facilitators, a lot of civil workers, and make the SRH awareness as easy as possible, and make it as make for Egyptian girls, it is so shame and embarrassing to ask about my sexual needs, about SRH. So if I'm playing a game and there is the information that I need, I can imagine that is much easier than going to a lecture or to a doctor and asking her. Even like doctors can't tell sexual information to their patients. It's very stigmatized. So you are bringing innovation to the floor. Thank you for that. And I would like to thank all the audience here who was very interactive. So let's clap for them, guys. Thank you for attending. And remember that we have the youth lounge and we have 120 under 40 booths to play an SRH game and get souvenirs and win. So right after this, we are there. And thank you all. Thank you.